This happened during exam week. Our class got scheduled for a late afternoon test, and because the teacher was running late, we had to stay longer than usual. By the time we finished, it was almost evening. Most of the school was empty. The hallways were quiet, and the lights were already dim in some parts of the building. I went to the restroom before heading out. It was one of those older restrooms at the far end of the hallway that barely anyone uses. As I was washing my hands, I heard a faint thud outside the door. I thought maybe someone dropped a book or something. But when I stepped out, there was nothing there. The hallway was completely empty. I started walking towards the main exit, but halfway there, I noticed a backpack just sitting in the middle of the floor. It looked familiar. When I got closer, I realized it belonged to one of my classmates who left way before me. That's what made it weird. I looked around, thinking maybe she came back to get something, but there was no one. I picked up the backpack to put it on the bench, and that's when I noticed the zipper was half open. Inside, there were notebooks, but also a small kitchen knife. I froze for a second. I didn't know if it was a joke or what, but I didn't want to be holding it, so I just left it on the bench and started walking faster. Before I could reach the exit, I saw someone standing near the stairwell across from the door. They were just wearing a hoodie with their head down, just leaning against the wall, not moving. I thought maybe it was another student waiting for someone, but the vibe was off. I didn't recognize them at all. I decided not to go that way and turned around to exit through the back gate. When I finally got out and reached the guardhouse, I told the guard there was a weird person in the hallway. He just nodded and said he'd check it out later. He didn't seem surprised, like maybe this wasn't the first time. That walk home was tense. I kept thinking about that knife in the bag and how it got there. I asked my classmate about it the next day, and she said she never went back for her backpack, that she thought she left it in the classroom. I never told her what I found inside. I don't know who put it there or what their plan was, but I stopped staying late after that. Just didn't feel safe anymore. This happened back in high school when I got assigned to help out with the cleaning duties after class. I wasn't really close with the others who stayed behind, so I just did my part and kept to myself. That day, we were assigned to clean one of the older classrooms on the third floor, the ones no one really used anymore unless there weren't enough rooms. It was quiet up there, too quiet. The rest of the building was already pretty much empty, and I was the last one left in that room since the others finished early and left. I had to stay a bit longer to sweep the floors properly and close the windows. While I was near the blackboard, I heard what sounded like a desk sliding across the floor behind me. I turned around fast, but nothing looked different. Everything was in the same spot. I thought maybe I imagined it, or it was just the wind. Then I noticed one of the desks had a small notebook tucked in the shelf underneath. It didn't look like it belonged to the school, just a plain black cover with no name. Out of curiosity, I opened it, and it was full of scribbles. The same line, drawn over and over again across the pages. No words, just lines. Some pages were even torn halfway. It creeped me out, so I closed it and shoved it back where I found it. I didn't want to stay there any longer, so I locked the windows and went to leave. When I turned off the lights and stepped into the hallway, I noticed the door across the hall was wide open. That was weird because I swore it was closed earlier. I didn't even hear anyone come up or go past me. Out of habit, I went to shut it, but when I peeked in to make sure no one was inside, the whole room was a mess. Chairs knocked over, papers all over the place. It looked like someone had gone through stuff quickly and left in a rush. But that room wasn't supposed to be used at all. I didn't know what to think, but I backed away slowly and left. I didn't report it, I just pretended I didn't see anything. The next day, when I asked my friend about that hallway, she said they keep that section closed most of the time because of maintenance issues. But nobody ever talks about what happened there a few years ago. I don't even know if there's a story behind it or not. All I know is I stopped volunteering for cleaning duty after that, especially on the 3rd floor. There was this one time in senior high when I stayed late at school for group work. Everyone else had already left, and it was just me waiting for my mom to pick me up. I was sitting near the admin building where it's usually quiet, especially after hours. It was getting dark, and the security lights had just come on. I was scrolling through my phone, not really paying attention, when I noticed someone standing by the faculty hallway across the court. I thought maybe it was one of the janitors or a teacher still finishing up something, but they weren't moving. They were just standing near the door, facing it, not doing anything. I looked back at my phone, trying to mind my own business, but when I looked again, they were gone. No footsteps, no doors opening or closing. I told myself I was just imagining things, but when I heard a loud bang, like a chair falling from inside the faculty room, it was loud enough that it echoed a bit. I waited for someone to come out, maybe a teacher reacting or someone checking, but nothing. A few minutes later, I stood up and walked towards the gate because I saw my mom's car pull in. While I was walking, I glanced back at the faculty hallway one more time. This time, there was someone peeking from behind the door, not all the way out, just part of the face. They weren't moving, just staring. I couldn't even tell if they were a male or a female. They were that far away, but I knew they were watching me. And the creepiest part was that there was no reason for anyone to be back there. That part of the building had already been locked up by 5 p.m. I didn't say anything to my mom. I just got in the car and told her I didn't want to stay late anymore. Ever since that day, even during regular hours, I avoided walking past that hallway. I never found out who that person was or why they were there.